So, I just watched a review of the entire Batman film franchise, with the exclusion of the campy 1960s movie. Um, Now, with The Dark Knight Rises less than a year away, I have a few questions about the movie, which God knows we won't know until we get like a theatrical trailer. Some of which we won't even know until the movie's out. Um, one of the questions is one of the questions I have, and I think it's a big one. It's a fair one. Uh, is Batman going to die? I mean, it seems entirely plausible. It's the end of the franchise. Christopher Nolan said this is going to be the last installment in the film franchise. Even Warner Brothers said once this is done, they're going to reboot it to a campy style. God help me. It's going to be just awful. Oh. Um. So is Batman going to die in this movie? I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibilities. It's entirely possible for them to kill off Batman in the end. Um, I think what would be a I guess I think this would be a good move is if he's killed in public and Gordon takes it upon himself to bury Batman without unmasking him. I think it's because maybe something happens. Batman dies while saving Gotham, right? And Jim feels that if he were to unmask him, he would no longer be a symbol of justice that Batman had become at that point. Batman has always been a symbol, but I feel like this movie is going to be Batman redeeming himself, and then either he'll go on to protect Gotham or he'll die. I think that's one of only two routes that they can go. Either he'll go on protecting Gotham, being the Dark Knight, being the Caped Crusader, or he's going to die. But I think if they do kill him, he will have redeemed himself to the city. I think the city will have, forgiven him and accepted him as its protector. The second question I have is Christian Bale going to keep doing that voice? It's a silly voice. It is a silly voice. But you know what? I think for them to go 2 films in and have him do it, to a third film where he stops doing it, I think it would be obvious that he stopped doing it. But yet, no matter what dialogue they come up with, you're going to laugh every time he opens his mouth. I mean, we all cracked up. What are you trying to tell me? When he does that whole thing he does. A few things. I mean, that's really all I wanted to talk about. Let me see if I got anything else. I hope Catwoman is used as minimally. I hope they don't use her too often in the film because, and it's not that I hate Catwoman. It's just I feel Anne Hathaway is so miscast as Catwoman because Catwoman, she's always had small beady eyes like a cat, and Anne Hathaway has these huge frickin' peepers. It's also really hard to see her as a villain. I've never ever even liked her as an actress, or even as a serious actress. She reminds me of Jennifer Garner. Like, I don't like looking at her. I don't like listening to her. And I really don't care about who's banging her this week. She's just a pretty face that got lucky. Really, that's it. It doesn't really show any a whole lot of emotion in a role, which is sad. It's sad because they could have cast anyone else who would have been 10 times better. At least they didn't cast Angelina Jolie, because that would have just about ruined it for me. Tom Hardy is Bane. Here's the thing. He's a fantastic actor, and I'm sure he can pull off Bane, but every time I hear the name Tom Hardy, I immediately think back to him playing Shinzon in Star Trek Nemesis. And that movie was just Paramount's failed attempt to recreate the success of Wrath of Khan. I mean, they basically took the same movie, changed a couple of things, but in the end, it disappointed, and it was too dark, really dark. I mean, Star Trek had its dark moments, but they always had some real levity to it. And they did it with class. Anytime there was something dark in Star Trek, they did it with class. And then the Next Generation films came out, and they just kept pumping out dumbed down action films with a cast that was not meant for action films. You have Patrick Stewart, and I love Patrick Stewart. He's great as Jean-Luc Picard. But you have him playing John McClane in Insurrection. And then you have him playing Captain Ahab in First Contact. And here's the thing. By the end of The Next Generation, Picard had been this character that saw the Borg, like most creatures, as a species with a right to exist, despite having been assimilated. Why am I getting into a Star Trek rant? Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So, The Dark Knight Rises, I guess we'll find out about the voice, maybe, when the theatrical trailer comes out. So far I'm enjoying the teaser trailer, but, they only give you so much. If any of you have seen the footage of the thing, of the new fight scenes, let me know what you think. The footage that got released of him fighting Bane, and that stadium footage. Let me know what you think. Comment, like, share, whatever. Peace.